Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little fella right here, Wanted, Rich or Dead, put out by Galakta. And this is a game where you are simultaneously choosing which location you're going to go to in the hopes of robbing that location of either belongings or money or a combination of the two. But if you go to the same location as somebody else, then you're going to have a shootout, and whoever wins the shootout is actually going to be doing the robbing, and the person who loses the shootout gets nothing for that turn. A number of turns are played until the money is depleted, and whoever has the most money at that point is the winner. So, sounds thematic? Sounds interesting? Sounds simple. Let's get down to the table. I'll show you how it works, and we'll come back with some final thoughts in just a few moments. Now, each person starts the game with a 6-card hand or deck, and it's always available to them at the beginning of every turn. Now, these 6 cards are 1 card for each of these locations, and then another card that is specific, kind of like a special card for that person only. And these are cards that are going to be played out of their hand face down to choose which location in the town that they're going to go to during the course of the turn. They're each also going to be having a player card, which is going to be specific for them. This player card has a couple of things on it. First of all, these medallions up here on the belt, these are how many of the belonging cards that you can have, the maximum limit. These are shootout bonuses that you are going to be able to use during a shootout as long as they aren't covered up by money tokens, which leads me to the next thing or element here. You also have money token slots. So El Guapo here can hold 8 money tokens on his card, whereas over here, Maverick Johnson can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, some of these cards, the belonging cards, also have money slots on them up at the top, so you can put money on these cards as well. However, if you ever get rid of that card for whatever reason, the money that's on it also goes with it. When you go to a place, you're going there to try to rob of that place of whatever it might be. If you go to the gunsmith, which is building 1 over here, then you'll be able to take 3 belonging cards, choose 1, and then discard the other 2. If you go to the casino, you're going to roll a die and take, it's a D3, and you're going to take that much money from the stash here and place it onto your player board at the top leftmost corner first, and then working down. Then, if you go to the bank, you're simply going to rob 2 from the bank. If you go to the general store, you'll be able to take 1 belonging card and rob $1 from the store. And then if you go to the saloon, you'll be able to rob 2, or if you're there with another person, you will each take 1. Now, with that having been said, if you do wind up at the same location as somebody else, then there will be a shootout unless it is the saloon. A shootout never happens in the saloon. But at any other location, if there are 2 or more wanted at the same location, a shootout will occur. So for a shootout example, let's say that El Guapo and Maverick both decided to go to the bank at the same time. And so at this point, you would be able to play a card. Each of them would be able to play a card from their hand, and then they are both simultaneously revealed. And so El Guapo here has bullets equal to a die roll plus 2, so he will roll the die, and he has 2 plus 2, that's 4, plus 2 more down here, because that's the most that is revealed. These are not cumulative, so he has 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. And then Maverick over here is able to roll 2 dice and add them together for his total. So here, oh, wow, what a roll. He has 6 plus 2 over here, so he has 8. So that means that Maverick wins the duel, and he is able to steal from the bank 2 as normal, with El Guapo not getting anything. Now, the Stagecoach is something that is only used in a 3 or 4 player game, and this is where you're going to have a connection of the 2 sites that he is between. So right now, he starts the game between the gunsmith and the casino, which means that both of these spots, locations, will be connected. Hence, if one person goes to the casino and another person goes to the gunsmith, they are considered at one location. A shootout will occur, but if, in this case right here, both of these would have a shootout, whoever won would be able to steal from the location that they are at. Now, to randomize this a little bit, what will happen here is after everybody has chosen what location they're going to go to, a die will be rolled, and whatever is the result of that die roll, the Stagecoach will move that many spaces, counting only the adjacent spaces in between. For example, this is 1, 2, and 3. So this is just simply a way of making the locations slightly tighter with a lower number of players during the game. Now, as I was speaking about the individual decks that each player will have, as you can see here, they all have the same locations on them, and if you rob from those locations, you're all going to be getting the same thing. However, the shootout portion of the card is different in all of the decks. So there is differentiation within the deck. If you go to the same location, you're going to be having different effects with your shootouts. But there is one extra special card in all of them that allows you to do something a little bit different. For example, one of them lets you stay where you are and steal from that location again, which normally you can't do. Other cards will help have very different effects for the shootout. Now, it's worthy of noting here, as we're talking about the decks, that you have to play all of the cards from your hand before you can pick up any card that you played previously. So it isn't like you can play the same card over and over and over again. But generally speaking, that's how the game is played, through a number of rounds of the players choosing which location to go to, robbing those locations, sometimes meaning to get into a shootout, hopefully other times hoping to avoid shootouts so that you can just make sure you get the stuff from the store or location that you're going to, until this stack runs out. And at that point, the game immediately ends. Whoever has the most money is the winner. So that's that for Wanted, Rich or Dead. Now, I have to say that when I was first savvy on this idea of being a simultaneous location selection game, I wasn't too hot on it. Matter of fact, after the first play, I was like, okay, it's one of those games. That's the kind of feeling that I had with it. But after I've played it a little bit more, the idea of the game grew on me a little bit, and especially since I've been thinking about the plays that I've had and the different dynamics from the different players that I've played it with, it's kind of grown on me a little bit. First of all, it's a very thematic game, and for as light a game it is, that's a pretty high praise in my opinion, because usually lighter fare games aren't as strong in the thematic department as other heavier games that give you a little bit more meat to sink your teeth into. This one, however, while it's very slim as far as that's concerned, it's very thematic because the shootouts and how each player has very different shootout decks in their hands of cards. You don't really know exactly if you're going to win or not. And that's how I imagine a shootout kind of felt like. I mean, yeah, you can walk in there with some bravado and a little bit of confidence, but on any given Sunday, right? Somebody can blow you away and you're done. Another aspect of the game is something that I've already kind of alluded to, and that is the variable player powers that are incorporated into these different decks. Yeah, if you go to the locations, you're all going to be able to take the same thing, but that's kind of how it should be, right? The differentiation comes into some of the differences of the cards themselves. For example, that extra card that is unlike any of the other ones is different. One of them lets you stay where you are. and rob from that place again, which you can't do normally. Other cards are, they allow you to wait and choose where an empty location is, and that's where you can go. But if somebody plays that same card or a card that's very similar to it, they're negated and you don't get to do anything there for that turn. So there's a little bit of a push your luck element that's in it right there. So the variable player power-ness of the character decks is a really cool thing in my opinion. Really enjoyed it. Another pro of the game is the component quality. The cards, while they weren't the best, they were decent and they were very good quality, and I like it when games do that. The artwork on top of that is a great look. It has a very cartoony nature, but at the same time, it's one of those good cartoons that you used to really enjoy in the afternoons, not necessarily in the mornings. And so I liked the artwork. The component quality was good. All of the tokens were nice, heavy stock as far as the cash were concerned. The different meeples from the different wanted people, the characters, those were all nice and chunky pieces of wood. I liked the cardboard standouts. I liked the fact that you could either have them standing up in a 3D fashion or just lay them face down in 2D, and that would work just as well. And then finally, my last pro for the game is that the fact that it is a lightweight game that has some oomph to it, so to speak. It plays quickly. You could knock out a game of this even with 5 players, probably in about 45 minutes at most, I would imagine. If you play less than that, you're getting around the half-hour mark. So the weight level to time investment ratio is very good. I enjoyed it a lot because it's very light, but it also has a very strong thematic feel to it. Much to the same level as something like Bang the Dice game, where it is a very light game, it's a very fast game, but it has a thematic flair to it. Now, some of the cons that I'm going to mention are probably more personal cons than anything else, but I do want to share them with you because maybe you'll agree with me. But first of all, the con is that I don't know how balanced all of the different player powers are. Because some of those player powers, because some of those player sheets only have 8 spots on them. But then you can only have a limited number of belonging cards at the same time. And then on top of that, not all of the belonging cards are give you the ability to put money tokens on them. So there's a, I don't know. See, I'm not a mathematician. I don't know how all that stuff is kind of worked out, but on the offset, it doesn't seem like they're completely balanced. And I don't think that they need to be, but I did feel at some point in one of the games that I couldn't win. I felt like I could not win. I didn't have the chance because I saw what other people had and I knew I wasn't going to be able to reach that level. So now there are some cards in that belonging deck that allow you to take money off of other people's player sheets. Not the cards, but the actual sheets themselves. So there is that. I guess that's a balancing factor, but I don't know how balanced it is. I know that I definitely had the feeling of it being, I don't think I can win here. I don't see how it's going to happen because I can't reach that level that that other player has attained. And so that leads me into a second con, and I think there might be an early leader problem in the game. I don't know for sure, but it felt that way in the games that I played. Maybe it was just a specific circumstance or random chance that it was happening, but maybe it's there. I don't know for sure. And that's why I'm not throwing too much weight into either of these two cons because they are, or they could be just an anomaly. It could be just a personal experience thing and other people who have played it may not have that problem at all. So there is that. But all in all, I think this is a very fun game. I'm not disappointed in it at all. I was at first, but I kind of came back from that after subsequent plays. So I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give it a seal of approval because I think for the kind of game that it is, it has a lot of thematic flair to it. And I love variable player powers, and it plays short, almost to the level of a filler game category. Not quite, it's a little heavier than that, but you can, with people who are savvy to the rules, you can definitely punch out a game pretty quick. So that's it from me for Wanted, Rich or Dead. We'll see you guys on the flip side.